Hi, and welcome to Practice Insights, the channel dedicated to supporting independent consultants with tools and techniques to help win gigs and deliver client engagements. Our aim is to become a hub of valued resourcing for freelancers, interims and contractors by providing you with information on every aspect of consulting life, from setting up, finding work, delivering your assignments and preparing for retirement. So if you're interested in consulting, then make sure to check us out. This video is episode 3 of our Consulting Essentials series, which provides short overviews of the most commonly used consulting tools. The series is aimed at people who may be newer to consulting, but it's also a quick way to refresh your memory if you are more experienced. And the subject of today's video is the product development process. So let's break it down together. Now, in your consulting career, it's almost inevitable that you will end up being asked to support your client to create new products and services. This is especially true if you work within advisory or professional services firms where filling the sales pipeline with innovative new service offerings may be critical to success. Now, at first the thought of creating new products may seem daunting, but I'm pleased to tell you there are well-proven processes to help you generate product ideas, assess their tenability, and commercialize them into revenue-generating service offerings. Now, while product development processes and techniques will vary substantially across companies, sectors, and industries, there are a series of generic, gated steps that underpin all of these models. Typically, these steps include the following. Step 1, generating ideas, so blue sky thinking. Step 2, product definition, fleshing out your ideas. Step 3, prototyping and detailed design, so modeling the idea further and creating business cases. Step 4 is about testing, validation and commercialization, which makes sure that the product is ready to go to market. The core goal of the product development process is to help you clarify and crystallize the following. Product desirability, the likely client demand for a product or service. Feasibility, the cost, risk and capabilities associated with providing the product or service. And finally, profitability, the revenues and margins the product will deliver. Now, the core goal of this step is to generate a long list of new product ideas and filter out those with the most potential. In reality, this means blue sky brainstorming, and the more diverse brains involved, the more likely you are to produce higher quality outputs with a greater cross-fertilization of ideas. So be sure to involve sales, marketing, consultants, SMEs and other partner people. You are essentially mining for ideas here, so just get them all down on paper. And here are some domains that may provide you with a little bit of inspiration as you build your lists. Firstly, get clients and talk to them, get their insights about their challenges. Are there opportunities arising from disruption? What impacts and opportunities will emerging technologies present? What trends can you spot in markets and industries, and what impacts might these have? Get insights from your own experts and evaluate your own products, their performance, and review customer feedback on these products. What legislation or other government policies are changing or might change in the future? What problems are our sectors facing? What is nobody else doing and what is nobody else willing to do? What problems are you and your company best placed to fix? Remember to monitor social media and assess your strategy to ask what products would fit and support the strategy. Scan your target markets, scan target customers, and for fun invent what-if scenarios to speculate about what might be needed if those events ever occurred. Now, as you brainstorm, it's important to have a method for capturing ideas and salient information about each product. Personally, I lean towards using a framework that succinctly articulates those dimensions of product desirability, feasibility and profitability that I mentioned a few moments ago. So let's take a look at these. So product desirability is an expression of the likely demand for a product within a market, and it is composed of the following components. Definition of the product itself, a description of what it is and what its key benefits are. Customers, who is likely to buy the product and how much are they likely to pay. Competition, an assessment of competitors, their capabilities, their products and their market penetration. Market size, how many customers are there and how many of them do you think you'll be able to sell to? Now, feasibility is a test of market entry, so you need to think about the following. Capital requirements, what capital will be needed to develop the new product or enter a new market? Legal, what are the considerations or constraints that must be taken into account when it comes to legal factors and matters? What risks exist? Capabilities, does your company have the capabilities and competencies needed to commercialize the product? Lastly, you need to consider profitability, which describes costs, which includes all of the costs that will be incurred to develop, sell and support the new product. Revenue, the expected annual revenue from the sale of the product itself. Profit, the required margins and annual profits based upon expected revenues. And finally, ROI, the actual return on investment once capital costs have been factored. So when will break even happen and when will you be profitable? So use the simple framework to prompt and guide your thoughts about those factors you will need to have fully fleshed out in subsequent steps. but for now, broad brush is fine. Now, once you have populated the template, you can use SWOT analysis or other techniques to screen products ideas and triage those you feel warrant further refinement through the definition phase. And remember to check out our previous video for a breakdown on the SWOT analysis, and check the links below for info on all our tools and templates. The goal of this product definition step is to flesh out the ideas you captured in step 1, refining their core functionality and assessing their potential market. So, first things first, you will need to assemble a team to help you develop and assess the technical, market and business aspects of the product concept and determine its core functionality. Now, you can use simple mock-ups or models to help visualize the product, which will make it easier to communicate the idea to potential customers, which in turn will help refine your understanding of the product's market size and fit. You also want to begin exploring the capabilities required to deliver the product and service. So at this stage, think about the people, processes and infrastructures that might be needed. It's during this step that you really want to think about your product within the market context. What are its unique selling points and what would differentiate it from competitors? So start your early thinking about price, quality, reliability and other factors that would make the offering appealing. At this stage of development, you would be wise to look at similar products, perform an initial competitive analysis, and begin to map out the competitive landscape in a bit more detail. This analysis will also help guide rough market estimates, market size, give you a feel for potential revenues, which in turn will feed your provisional cost and ROI calculation for the new product. Bear in mind that the analysis in this step is at a reasonably high level. You are looking for broad indicators to help you work out whether or not there is merit in taking this idea to the next step. Now, if your product idea has made it this far, then the prototyping step is where you begin to create the product business plan. This step is about detail and necessitates a thorough analysis of the competitive landscape, while also creating a financial model for the new offering that makes assumptions about market share. Pricing is a critical aspect of this step, as is your marketing plan. Now, the goal of your product business plan is to articulate the cost associated with developing and delivering the product, so people, processes, infrastructure, physical assets, against the potential revenue and profits over time. For physical products, such as hardware, remember that you will need to consider manufacturability and the supply chain issues of sourcing. In the prototyping step, you should craft a simple experimental model of your proposed product to check out how well it matches with what clients want. Prototyping can be as complex as a model office or on a physical product, but it also can be simple, like paper prototyping. Now, this type of prototyping will help you in many different ways. Firstly, it will give everyone a clear picture of the potential benefits, risks and costs associated with the product. It will help identify flaws and areas requiring change, which will reduce downstream costs from oversights. It is something you can show customers and use their feedback to enhance the product definition and benefits. It will improve your time to market by minimizing the number of errors to correct before product release. The prototyping phase is critical because it reduces the market risk for the new product and ultimately demonstrates feasibility. And remember that a product needs to be evaluated in the context of all dimensions of the business case: its desirability, feasibility and profitability. If your product passes all three, then it should be taken into step 4. Remember, your focus is on product design by refining the product through prototyping. In most cases, this will be an iterative exercise, getting customer feedback and incorporating it into the prototype. This final step is about validating that everything works as planned. This means the final validation of customers and markets while testing the viability and feasibility of the financial model. At this stage, the finished product may be available for initial feedback from actual paying customers, and this may form part of your final marketing strategy. Everything in your product business case must be thoroughly tested now. If anything in the business case or prototype needs revising, this is the team's last chance to do so. This is the last step before the product is ready for market. Often beta testing, depending on the product, is performed at this stage to help validate the go-to-market plan. Now, once testing is finished, you are ready to take the final step and bring the product to market. This means bringing everything together, including any manufacturing, sourcing, standing up partners, marketing, sales and training. The finished product will be built, stood up and sold. Your team will then begin the process of operationalizing the product, so readying its support. When using the product development process, there are a number of things I'd encourage you to reflect on. Firstly, gate reviews between each step or your friend. Each step in the process requires that more time, money and effort is spent on each product idea. This can be wasteful and costly if spent on the wrong ideas. So, set up exit criteria for each step and use these to ruthlessly filter out products that don't pass muster. Expect the methodologies that will be effective in your environment. Agile product development processes are fantastic, but largely pointless if your company has no agile competencies or immature practices. Think minimum viable product, MVP, during each step. It's far too easy to waste company time and resources developing too much detail for too long a product list. You are looking to triage your efforts with the least amount of work required to kill an idea or to demonstrate its viability. So focus on establishing the minimum required to demonstrate desirability, feasibility and profitability. These should be your guiding ratios. And don't become too attached to your ideas. It's far too easy to fall in love with a concept and compromise your objectivity. The goal is to use an empirical process to identify winning products, so make sure you have independent evaluators at each exit gate. And finally, make sure leaders support the process and commit the necessary time and resources to making it work. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you found this summary of the product development process useful, then please hit the like button and consider subscribing, as we will be developing detailed step-by-step how-to video guides for each tool in the Consulting Essentials series. We'll also be running live sessions that you can attend where we will workshop the product development process together in real time, and I'll help you solve its problems. Hope to see you in the next video, and until then, happy and safe consulting.